Hello my friends, and thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. I'm so excited that the new Spellbinders April 2025 club kits have arrived and they are amazing. There is a theme this month of mail, and so you'll see a lot of the products have the similar theme running through them, and I just could not love it more. I had so much fun creating the 10 cards I'm about to share with you today. If you've never signed up for a Spellbinders club, know that you can sign up for any club that you wish, and you can do so on a monthly basis so that if you want to cancel your club, you can do so at any time. I just find that they are an amazing value. The clubs also open up a month later for purchase without a subscription, but you will pay more if you purchase them a month later. So let's take a look at all of these clubs now. The first club that I want to share with you is the die of the month. Now, this is not the large die. This is the small die of the month, and it's amazing to say that because look at all of the dies you get in this club. This is called Snail Mail Post. It is so cute. I love everything about it. And there's a lot of parts and pieces that you can use on many different cards. So here you have your snail. He has his shell. He has a little worm friend. His eyes are here. His cheeks are here. You have a mailbox that you can put together, 2 different letter sizes. Here is his parcel carrier bag. Here is his hat. And then one of my favorite things is that you have a tulip set. So you have 2 pieces to create the flower for the tulip, a stem, and 2 different leaves. This piece here is for creating your ground. So you can create an entire scene for this one. For my first card, I did just that and I created an entire scene. So I used every piece in the die set to put together this card. I just love my little teal snail. I just think he's so cute delivering his little heart letter there. I also really love these tulips, and you'll see me use them on a lot of my cards this month. I just think they are really beautiful. I paired this die set up with another club that I'll be sharing later. This is the Glimmer of the month, and the sentiment here says, "Open me for a smile." Isn't that adorable? Now I also created one other card here. And this one, I didn't create the entire scene. So this just goes to show you that you don't always have to use all of the dies in those die sets to create a very cute card. Now with this one, I combined my snail with the embossing folder of the month, and I'll get to that one a little later, but this one is really nice. It has kind of that notebook edge to it. So I did that in blue. I had him still holding the letter, but the larger letter this time, and I added those hearts trailing up to the sentiment that I stamped using the Stamp of the Month Club. And that one says, "Snail Mail Hugs Coming Your Way." So 2 different cards. This one, much more detailed, lots more die cutting. This one just shows that you can, create a background, like a textured background of some kind, and put just one little focal die on, and you still get a great card. In any case, no matter how you use this die set, it is definitely a cute one. Next, we're going to take a look at the large die of the month club. This one is called Lock and Key Mailbox. Now, this mailbox takes up pretty much most of your A2 card front. So when you piece this all together, you're going to have one complete card. You have your large mailbox here. This is the angled piece that is on the front of the mailbox. You have some roses here to stick into your mailbox. You have a key. It's called Lock and Key. So there's your key. Here is the lock here. There is a seal here that you can put on your letter. And this is a nice size. It's a different size than in the small die of the month. And then you have this panel here that houses the lock. So let me show you the card that I created with this one. I really love this one. I just think it is so pretty. So this one I used the teals in the new Spellbinders colors, and I did a little accents in the pink. I definitely wanted to add that gold for the lock and for the sentiment to make that really stand out. Because I'm using that foil on the die set, I also wanted to create a patterned background. So I used the Glimmer of the month again there on that background, and I'll be sharing that one later. I used it a lot this month. I also used a stamped sentiment from the Clear Stamp and Die of the Month Club. So this little lock and key mailbox isn't very difficult to put together at all. I used some foam adhesive under here to make that pop up, but otherwise it's just really simple. I also did inlay the hello letters, but you can always leave those the color behind the sentiment panel there. Such a pretty one. It definitely has that old school mailbox feel to it, but I kind of brightened it up a bit with those teals. So that is the large die of the month for April 2025. I've talked about the clear stamp and die of the month a couple of times, and I'm here to show it to you now. This one is called Send and Seal. So what I love about this stamp is that you have the little letter background. So you can create an entire background of letters and small packages, color those in, and that's exactly what I did on my card. But not only that, you get a lot of different sentiments as well. You get 8 sentiments. And some of them really work well with, the other sets, like the snail has snail mail hugs coming your way, which you saw me use already. And then other ones are just perfect for anything. Open for a happy surprise, thank you. Just a friendly reminder, someone is thinking of you. There is also a die set that coordinates with some of these pieces. So you get some of the dies for the letters, for the tag, for the paper airplane, and you get the dies that cut out the sentiments as well. And that's if you subscribe to the clear stamp and die of the month. There's also the option to just get the clear stamp as well. But I would say go ahead and get it with the die if you can. So this month I really loved this one, and I had to just create that lovely background and color it in with my Olo markers. How cute is that? Now I didn't color all of them in colors. I, just added shadow to some of them just so that, I could make it look really clean and fresh. I also used the just a friendly reminder, someone is thinking of you sentiment there. I really love this stamp this month, and I definitely can see myself creating this many times in different colorways. Because I just showed you this card and it has this frame of like the postage label here, I had to show you a die set that I used quite a bit this month because it fits so perfectly with this month's clubs. It's the nested postage labels and tag dies. Now with this one, you get the postage labels, and then you get the stitched frames as well. And that's what I love about it, is that you get so many different frame dies in this one. You also get a small tag right here. And look at that tiny little postage stamp. This is one of my go-to die sets, and so I just had to use it on several of my cards this month. So be sure to check that out in the Spellbinders shop. This month's Glimmer of the month is called Scattered Letters. I really love this one because it has the entire A2 plate background and it's just really lovely. I love all of those scattered letters on the background. And you also get two sentiments, which you saw me use before: open me for a smile and mailing you a big hello. You also get the coordinating dies to cut those out too. So on this one, I created a colorful background using the Glimmer of the Month. But if you are a Caboodle member, which means that you subscribe to all of the clubs, you will also receive a stencil that coordinates with the Glimmer of the Month so that you can color all of these in. And I just love the idea of coming up with 4 different colors to create a beautiful colorway for all of these foiled envelopes. So here I used the background. I cut it out with the nested postage die that I just showed you to give it that beautiful edge. And then I topped it with a sentiment, the mailing you a big hello. And then on this one, I used the die of the month to cut out that envelope and heart to put it right there underneath my sentiment. I really love that one. If you're a Caboodle member, you're really going to love this stencil to color in those envelopes on that background. If you're not a Caboodle subscriber, I just want you to know that you're still going to love this Glimmer of the Month. So here's how I used it without the coordinating stencil that you get as a Caboodle member. So I glimmered this in silver foil on dark navy cardstock. And I decided that it really needed a colorful focal point here. So I created a rainbow of envelopes cut from the small die of the month and all the same size, just a rainbow of those beautiful Spellbinders cardstock colors. Then I added the Open Me for a Smile Glimmer of the Month sentiment. This card couldn't be any easier, but it may be one of my favorites this month. And it just shows you how great that Glimmer of the Month kit is without the coordinating stencil. I always love the stitching die of the month, but as a stationery lover, this may be one of my favorites. This is called the Stitched Taking Notes set. And what I love about it is that it has kind of a shaped top. This fills an entire A2 card, so it creates your whole background. And then you have the long stitching line, so it's really fast to stitch. What I did with this one is I made it look just like a note card that you had pulled out of your paper pad. I kept the top free, so I cut my card base a lot shorter than that top to make sure that this stuck out from the card base. I I stitched my lines using that kind of pale green teal and that coral color like you would see on a regular ruled notebook. And then I used the die of the month to cut out 2 different colors of those tulips. I think that this is so pretty. I love the look of those tulips on that ivory cardstock there against the colors of the lines. I added the for you sentiment, and there is for you, friend, hello, a note, and thanks. So you have quite a few different options there. I added that for you sentiment there with some foam adhesive and then just a few of the gold Color Essentials gems. But this is one of my favorite cards. I just love the simplicity of it, but it's just so beautiful and I think it would brighten anyone's day. Okay, Better Press is just awesome. I love it because it's so foolproof. It creates such a professional looking card. This one is called Post Edge Expression, and it's a really fun one. And I'm actually missing a part of my die set here. There we go. There's the post edge. I lost mine. Okay, so what you have here are some written words in here, and when it comes out, it's so textural. It is just so clear and cool. I just love the way it looks. Then you have that post edge, similar to the die set that I was showing you before, but this is going to give you that nice, bold, colorful frame around the text. Then you have three different sentiments. You have a note just for you, wishing you a day as sweet as this letter. And then you have a friendly reminder that someone is thinking of you, which I think is really nice. Okay, for this one, I went with a red, white, and blue scheme because it just made me think of the US Postal Service, and I just really loved the way that that looked. I love that text in the background because you can't read it. It looks a little messy. There's like some stars. I can see an exclamation point, but it just has so much texture, which really works so well with Betterpress. And then look at that postage frame. I mean, I wish you could feel the way that this looks on that Betterpress paper. It is just so neat. Again, I turned to the small die of the month to add that red tulip and two different letters with the gold hearts. And I went with the wishing you a day as sweet as this letter sentiment. Now I have to show you what I used here to splatter that gold. Hopefully you can see it, but it is really beautiful. And this is the watercolor mixing set. I really love this. It comes with gold, pearl silver, and indigo. And it couldn't be any easier to use, and it splatters just beautifully. So I use that on the background. But I really love this Betterpress. I think you could definitely use the scripted background on other cards just for that texture. This month's stencil of the month has not one, not two, but 5 stencils to create a really awesome card. This is called Airmail. So the first 3 stencils create a 4-part envelope. So you have the top, the bottom, and the 2 sides, right? So you can use different colors of the same color, so just varying the intensity of the same color, or you could use 4 different shades of a blue or a red or something like that. Then you have 2 stencils here. This one adds the seal to the center of your envelopes, and then when you do the outside, it creates that postage lined outside. So super fun. I used all of the stencils on my card. So for this panel, I created my envelopes using 3 different shades of blue ink there. Instead of going with red ink for the centers of my envelopes, I used scrapbook.com's Pops of Color, and this is Pearl Cherry Pie, to give you that dimensional seal. And then I used the postage, nested postage labels and tags die set to cut that out, as well as the blue panel behind. Then I grabbed another piece of white cardstock to add that border. So I just used red and blue there, layered everything up, added a sentiment from the Glimmer of the month that says mailing you a big, and then I grabbed the large die of the month to add that hello. I just really think this card is super fun. It shows how you can use the different clubs together to create a really fun card. This is also a really modern one. It'd be great for a guy. I think a guy would really get a kick out of this card. So what a fun one. I just really loved this stencil set, and you could create these envelopes in so many different colors. Okay, let's talk about the embossing folders this month. So I had already shown you the 2D embossing folder of the month. This one is really fun, and it is called the Perforated Stamp Edges. So kind of has that stamp edge detail just all facing the same way. I just think it's a really great texture. I don't think it has to, fit for a letter or stamp theme. It just adds a really great texture to your background. So I used it on that card with the small die of the month. And the 3D embossing folder of the month is just spectacular. So let me put something dark behind this one so you can really see the details here. So you have different postage stamps. Some of them are florals, some of them, there's a Roman column there, there's a heart, there's a rose, a strawberry. I love the mushroom, that's my favorite one. A floral, a butterfly, that looks like a butterfly from one of our past clubs too. I love the crown as well. But you can create this huge panel of these postage stamps, or you can be choosy and choose an A2 section. So look at the detail on this one. I could not believe how dimensional this one is, and I'm holding it just so you can see that dimension. Now I will mention I also did not spray this one with any water. I was just trying to see what it would do without spraying it, and it didn't crack whatsoever. And this is so gorgeous. I didn't use any white pigment ink on it. It's just so dimensional. You can see all of those beautiful details here. So I just had to top this embossed panel with a few different things. The first is the wax seal of the month. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this one up. Hopefully it will focus on it. It's kind of hard because it is so small. The wax seal of the month is called Petal Postage, and it is a rectangular seal with a floral design that's like kind of sat on a grid. So let me hold this one up so that you can see it there. So I created this using some yellow wax, and I'll be sure to link that. And to add to that, I used the sealed twine cutting dies to add that yellow twine looking string. I also used the large die of the month to add those small flowers and the gold key. I thought that was a really nice touch there. Then I used the Better Press of the month to add the just a note just for you sentiment. So really not too difficult of a card. Again, it just shows how beautifully all of those clubs paired together. But when you have that gorgeous embossed background, you really don't have to add much to it. And I wouldn't want to, because I mean, it's just so beautiful and detailed. And whoever receives this card is really going to want to look at that background. Thanks so much for joining me as I shared all 10 cards that I created with the April 2025 Spellbinders Club Kits. I really love the theme of these clubs, that snail mail, that postage stamp. It's just really fun. All of these clubs pair so beautifully together. So if you love them all, consider getting the caboodle so you get that free stencil gift. Be sure to check out all of the clubs and additional supplies that I shared in this video in the video description below by hitting that More button. I hope you like this video. If you do, be sure to hit the thumbs up, leave a comment letting me know, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you'll turn on the notifications and you won't miss next month's Club Kit video. Thanks so much for watching, and happy creating, friends.